And this is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio. We are starting our pregame virtual live from Memphis pregame show for the Liberty Bowl today, Army versus West Virginia. We're stretching our technology a little bit. Many thanks to the American Legion Department of Tennessee, a couple of levels, both at the state office and also in the Memphis area, for helping us find a video capability through my new friend Deandre Bailey, who is on site, set up a nice video picture for us, and we can see the Liberty Bowl. Hope you can too, from wherever you are watching Sons of the American Legion Radio and our West Point football page. We always like to think that there's perhaps a soldier overseas or even at a base here who can follow the game through our coverage. We're going to stay here until 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central time, when ESPN takes over to broadcast the 62nd annual Liberty Bowl, Army versus West Virginia. Army 9-2 on the season, West Virginia 5-4. West Virginia rested. They had one game, lost to Iowa State in December. Their game against Oklahoma was twice canceled. It was going to be their senior day. So their coach, Neil Brown, talked about this game being really their senior day. And they are very enthusiastic about playing in this game and very respectful of Army. Black Knights are coming off. They had a Christmas break. But they had two December games, as you know, back-to-back wins for the Commander-in-Chief Trophy, the most coveted trophy in college football, over Navy, and then 15-0, and then Air Force 10-7. Both dramatic games that went down to the last minute. Games that'll be remembered for as long as people are following Army football and Academy football. And so we're glad to be able to give you a little bit of a view of the Liberty Bowl. Now let's say hello to our friend in the Liberty Bowl Stadium at the top of the stands, and that is Deandre Bailey from Photos for Less, right there in Memphis. Deandre, how you doing? We got Deandre. He's been giving me a weather report.
Hear you.
There you are, Deandre. Tell us, how are you?
I'm doing good. It's just cold and rainy right now.
Okay.
37 degrees.
Well, that's par for the course. I think it's warmer here in White Plains, New York, than it is in what you said, Memphis, 37 and drizzly. And that's something Army says, if it isn't raining, it's not training. And Jeff Monken will say, in fact, he talked about this the other day when it looked like the weather might be bad, that they would be. They prepare in all weather. They don't like to practice indoors, even though they've got a beautiful indoor field house at Foley Center. They try to practice outside most of the time, and they are ready for the elements. Army, a very conservative offense, as you know. Everybody who follows Army football, the option, and even within the option offense, it's gotten pretty conservative. Army's used 6 different quarterbacks this year. We're not exactly sure who's going to go out to take the first snap. Could be Tyree Tyler, could be Christian Anderson. Tyree was hurt in the Air Force game. Christian Anderson went in and played superbly in that game. And but Coach Monken said everybody seems to be healthy. And it's the last game of the year, so we wouldn't be surprised if Tyree Tyler, number 2, he's considered the best, quickest runner of the Army quarterbacks this year. Christian Anderson, just a good all-around quarterback, does everything pretty well. Christian from Cardinal Hayes High School, not far from us in the Bronx, New York. And so it's going to be fun to see. We've got a few people calling in today. But we have enjoyed doing this. I wanted to mention our sponsors, especially the Westchester Bank, mentioned on your screen. If you're in Westchester County, just south of across the Hudson from West Point, and you have a question on financial services, and you're a veteran, just call and ask for the CEO, John Tolmer, and he'll take care of you personally. Love to meet you. John, a great friend of veterans, does a lot of work on career transition. Did a wonderful program a few years ago when we first met him on career transition for veterans. And so we also want to thank our friends at the White Plains Bake Shop, Lee Kaufman and his crew. You know, they've been working. They've getting through the pandemic like so many other small businesses. They're right at the corner. They're on Mamaroneck Avenue, as you're going into White Plains from perhaps like from the Hutch or from Harrison, or from from Harrison or Mamaroneck, and they're right on the corner on the left, just past Bloomingdale Road. And we always mention we're representing the 2 million veterans of the American Legion, the world's largest veterans organization. We're so proud to be a small part and be able to tell their story, tell the story of veterans whenever we can. And so it's, we always want to remember, you can get information on membership services or just veterans or military news by going to legion.org. And they've got a great Facebook page and also a great Twitter feed and lots of information. And we're all part of the 350,000 members of the Sons of the American Legion, honoring and serving America's veterans. I'm eligible because my dad served as World War II Army officer, took young Americans to Italy, commissioned at Fort Sill. And also I have to mention an uncle, Dan Leahy, was an Army soldier, served in the Philippines, and was, we believe, part of the 25th Infantry Division that fought their way through the Philippines in 1944 into 45. That was honored with the uniform in the Army-Navy game, the olive green camouflage uniform that the Army Black Knights wore to victory. And let's see, we've got a few guests we invited to call in, and let's see who our first one is. Okay, we've got a guest calling in. Who do we got there?
I mean, I thought you were
I don't know. I could go back and look. I have a whole binder.
Okay, we'll see who. We'll catch up with them in a minute. Oh, okay. That's Steve Shalou.
What's going on?
Well, we are live from with our picture from above LibertyBowl Stadium, and glad to have you with us. Steve is a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy. What year, Steve? Was it 91?
92. 92,
okay. And Steve was an offensive lineman on the Black Knight football team. And getting set. It's been a long season. We've been enjoying it. We did some final interviews Tuesday with Nolan Cockrell and Cedric Cunningham, and we heard from Santa McCoy this week and Mike Johnson. But it's been a year. I think a year of perseverance would have to be the word. Getting through COVID, being at the academy from the 1st of June when they came back after study at home during the spring. And we appreciate your insight. You've been joining us for our weekly huddle. And so what's your thought about, can you see the picture there? We've got the teams are starting to do their informal warm up at the Liberty Bowl. Looks like it's a little wet and cold. Our guy, Deandre Bailey's out there in 37-degree weather.
Yeah, Ken, I got Mikey Stadium behind you.
Yeah, can you see the Liberty Bowl on your screen?
No, I can't. All I got is you and Mikey.
Oh, okay. Because I can see it. I don't know why you can't. And that's good. Good check. We should be okay. We don't have any sound coming. Well, let's talk, because I think we got it. I'll check it while we are speaking. What's your impression of this? Oh, you got it now?
I got it now. I went to a different view and I've got it right there now.
Okay, that's terrific. Now, what's your impression of this game? What are the challenges Army's facing in playing a very good West Virginia team from the Big 12?
Well, I think some of our biggest challenges are going to be, I mean, this is Big 12 football. They're going to be high powered. They're going to be fast. very athletic. I think we're going to be, you know, challenged at that point. You know, it has been such a long grind. We've come off of two very, very, very emotional, inspirational wins. We've had a holiday in between. Did the team exhale? Did the team keep that same level of intensity? You know, I'm getting inklings that there are some possible COVID issues on the team, at which we've got some players that aren't going to play. I know of two right now that are not going to play, that are starters. So, you know, what does that look like? And does the next man up mentality work better for us than, you know, against a West Virginia than it would against, let's say, a Citadel? So we've got some challenges, but, you know, that's what it's been like the entire year. So, you know, let's go. Let's play the ball game. That we've done so many things against so many odds that I think we embrace that type of thing. And you know, they want to come out and show why they are who they are.
Well, it's certainly been a challenge. I think starting at the you know, with injuries and the quarterback position, Army has played, I believe it is 6 quarterbacks this year, started 5 of them. And that's without Jabari Laws ever playing a snap this year, who was anticipated to be the starting quarterback coming off a terrific season last year, but he never quite healed from the injury he had last year. And so I think they decided to keep him out. Maybe he can get another year of eligibility. But Christian Anderson started, then he got hurt. Then we had Cade Ballard, and then with Jamel Jones. You know, this Texas San Antonio game that both of them played sometimes on the same drive. And I thought Cade Ballard played well throwing the ball. Jamel Jones is a good runner. He got hurt. And then along came Tyree Tyler, who I remember, you know, and Coach Munkin had the same memory. He played terrific in a spring game a couple of years ago, and kind of stood out, showed his quickness, showed his running ability. And then, you know, he got hurt. And so Army then really kind of went back to Christian Anderson when he got healthy. And I still think Cade Ballard may get a shot, especially if Army's got to show some instant offense. Ballard from the state of Tennessee could be is a good passer. He never lost a game in high school when he started. He won, I think it's 30 games, 2 state championships. He won his 2 games he started for Army. And so I think you're going to, I wouldn't be surprised if Cade Ballard got in today, especially if Army's got to put some points on the board. What do you think?
You know, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I've been off most of the year trying to anticipate who coach is going to start at quarterback. I'm a huge fan of Cade. I think he's a winner. He's a gamer. Tyre brings things to the table that Cade can't bring to the table. Cade brings things to the table that Tyre can't bring to the table. So I would welcome it. But if history proves to be, you know, a prologue, I think we're going to be looking at Tyre coming out. I don't think Cade is going to be that much into the picture. Who knows? Really, since the team went back, I mean, they went home for Christmas and came back. I don't know which ones got cleared and which ones didn't. You know, some came back and didn't get cleared to play. So your guess is as good as mine. But if all things being equal, I would think Tyre would be the starter. Yeah.
I think that's just one of the factors in college football this year is who can stay healthy. And as Coach Munkin says, it's physically healthy, and then it's healthy from avoiding the COVID virus that has affected so many tragically. We know what the statistics are nationally for this terrible pandemic. Hopefully we will get through it this year. I think that's all of our wish for 2021 is that we're done with COVID by sometime sooner than later. And great work by all the medical professionals, doctors, nurses, all the people who developed that vaccine. And we're we're a small part of it, but we appreciate that. It was especially in the spring right here in White Plains where we're based, very tough situation. Now joining us from Florida, we've got Richard Miller. Richard, how are you from our Sons of the American Legion team?
I'm doing very well, Ken. How are
Good.
you?
Well, good. Well, thanks for joining us. Richard produces our weekly.
You're welcome.
Richard produces our weekly Sons of the American Legion Army football huddle. We have one more episode, and then we're going to switch a little bit to basketball. You don't know about that yet, Richard, but we're going to be doing a basketball huddle pretty soon.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to the basketball huddle, Ken.
Okay. I just got to keep on. We've got a few more guests that we invited. We appreciate Steve Shalou from the West Point class of '92 joining us, and we appreciate Deandre Bailey, who is getting a beautiful picture from the top of the stands of the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. We'll see if we can pan in a little closer when the teams go out for their formal warm-up. But we enjoy doing this during the year. We were able to do 7 of the 8 Army home games this year. We were able to show the warm-ups, and we're the American Legion. We're going to show the National Anthem. And no matter how they did it, whether it was a musical group or they did it off the scoreboard, we showed that. And then we stayed to watch the Army team go on the field before the CBS Sports Network joined in to do the broadcast. Steve, I guess, one of the challenges in this is looking at the Army defense versus, which has been facing option teams for 3 games in a row between Georgia Southern and Navy and then Air Force. But now they're playing a West Virginia team that likes to throw the ball. Good quarterback, Derek Doge, has got about 2,500 yards passing this year and over a dozen touchdowns. What do you think Army's got to focus on defense today?
I think it's got to be it's got to be lane discipline. Coach likes to put a lot of pressure at the point of attack from doing some stunts, some twists, and he also likes to blitz. What that does is that will give natural gaps could open up in the defense at which we could get burned for a draw play or a quarterback draw or something like that. So if we are providing pressure, we've got to keep our contain. We have to keep our lanes up front so that we're not opening that up for being gashed from the quarterback. And then just being patient, because we are going to have some larger chunk plays that are going to happen against us. I mean, this is not an option team where that's not going to happen. So we've just got to just stay patient and understand that let's keep the ball inside, keep it up front. Let's provide pressure where we can. Let's grind them down. Now, keep in mind, our offense is going to make them frustrated because, hopefully our time of possession is going to be a whole lot more than theirs. So the quarterback is going to feel a little bit squeezed in terms of how many series is he going to get in the game. And that if he's not successful in a couple of those series, he might get tight. He might tighten up a little bit, trying to force things, trying to be a hero, and we can capitalize on that on defense. So be patient, keep your discipline in lanes, and keep the ball inside and up front. I think we're in great shape if we do that.
Just getting a picture for our Twitter feed. I wanted to welcome another good friend of ours, West Point graduate, Steve Kraetzer. Steve, how are you today?
Doing well. Good to be on a football game day.
Yeah,
Hey, Steve.
That's Richard Miller from our Sons of the American Legion team, and you may know Steve Shalou from the West Point class of '92, former Army football player. And Steve, tell us again what year you graduated the academy.
84. So I guess I'm the old dude here.
No, I graduated college before you did.
Okay.
I think I finished graduate school by the time you graduated. Okay, now Steve, tell us the name of your show. You guys do a terrific show out of Huntsville, Alabama, and have a terrific growing Facebook page. Tell us a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah, thank you. It's a Crawdads Countdown to Kickoff. We're in our 10th season. It was really the genesis of the namesake, Bill Crawdad Crawford. Sort of had the idea. There were 3 of us, Tom Economy. Those guys are class of 80, 81 respectively. Had an idea, because we'd sit around, watch games together, all passionate about it, followed Army football and Army sports pretty thoroughly, and said, well, hey, what if we do this, in a radio format? So we approached the local ESPN affiliate. They gave us a trial run, and again, we're just concluding our 10th season.
Well, that's terrific. And if you would just tell us a little bit about your background at West Point. I know you served in the U.S. Army. You had an interesting story. I remember you told me earlier in the year.
Yeah, following graduation, I was assessed into Army Aviation. We were the first year group to go directly Army Aviation, affectionately referred to us as the Thoroughbreds, and did the first part of my career in that, and then transitioned to the Acquisition Corps or the project management, R&D sector of the Army, and that really paved the way for a lot of my post-Army employment. Athletically, I was one of those guys that hit the ceiling, even though I was a 3-sport letterman in high school, hit my ceiling in high school, and but still love football. I'm a student of the game, and really love all sports, sort of a Renaissance guy when it comes to sports. I rarely encounter sport I don't enjoy engaging in.
Absolutely. Now, what was the assessment of your groups on this game, the challenges Army's going to have to overcome to have a chance to beat a very good West Virginia team from the Pac-12? Excuse me.
Yeah, I think number one, I mean, Coach Munkin often plays the card, okay, this is a school that didn't even recruit to our level of athletes and stuff like that. And looking at a Big 12 conference team, that's not just hyperbole. There is a difference in the talent level overall. But I think Munkin's using that to motivate the team. And I think, but they've got to realize at every encounter they're dealing with some very talented folks. You already mentioned the quarterback, Doji. Although I think that's a good news, bad news story. He's a very accurate passer, quick release, very accurate, doesn't throw many interceptions. But at the same time, he's of the mold of Dan Marino, going real old school, Dan Fouts. He's a pocket passer. He's not a threat to run the ball. And he tends not to do well when he's pressured at all. If he's on the move throwing or he's getting harassed in any way, his percentages go way down. So if we can apply a little pressure, not allowing him to get comfortable, I think that bodes well for Army. But a running threat, they've got a great core of wide receivers that are big, talented, and fast. On the defensive side of the ball, the big question is going to be how Tony Fields' absence is going to impact leading tackler on the team. And that's a big void to fill. But still, they've got some very talented folks. Darius Seals and who's the linebacker, Tyke Smith. So they've got some formidable players. But this is going to be one of those. Again, it's boring because it's what we often hear. But no mistakes, no turnovers. Especially on the offensive line, we can't have those false starts, those illegal procedures that stall runs, because that'll slow things down in a hurry.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining us. I want to see if we can get a little bigger picture from Memphis. We have a live feed. Thanks to the Department of Tennessee. Richard, we're just going to put you on audio. And,
okay.
So we can just bring us up a little bit more. I want to give everyone, this is quite a production for us on doing I'll see if that brings it up. Not a lot, but this is kind of the first time we stretched our technology. We as I said, Steve, We got Steve and Steve now. Steve Kraetzer from calling in from Huntsville, Alabama. That we during the season we did a Facebook Live of the warm-ups each game. The only game we couldn't do it was Navy because CBS Sports Network did a continuous pregame show from 12 noon to kick off when they switched to the big CBS. And so we're able to give you a little bit of a view. I know some of the parents, and it was awful this year because parents could not attend the games except for a couple of the away games. I think the Texas-San Antonio game and perhaps the Tulane game. How did the parents deal with this? I mean, not being able to see their sons play in the games except for a couple of those road games. Steve Shalou, thought?
Yeah, I'll speak real quick to that. I've actually in contact with multiple parents. I got to meet a lot of them in person. I was at the Tulane game, so that was pretty special. But it's been a tough year in that regard. It was especially tough for the Air Force game, given that the Corps of Cadets had already left on Christmas leave. There was the thought, okay, let's open it up. If not all parents of the players, at least those that were seniors that are firsties, and thought, okay, let's let those folks in. And yet, erring on the side of safety and everybody's health, the Academy elected not to do that. So it's been a very tough year, and especially for the parents of players who are firsties.
And and also for the parents of the cadets who were it's funny, I have an ad playing on my tablet. I'm just checking the lineups, and maybe just tell us again. It was tough, because at the Navy game when you had the march-ons, for both the midshipmen and for Army out there with the 36 companies, their seniors leading all that, and it's a huge day for their families to be able to watch their senior lead a company or be on the front row of a company formation leading onto the field. I think it's one of the most dramatic moments in college football, watching the two march-ons. I go back to watching video when they did it at, in Army Navy games 50, 70 years ago. What did you think about? How did the parents handle that? It must have been very difficult for them.
Yeah, again, I'll jump on this. Number one, I've never seen a march on, which is unique. 4 years I lettered, so I was on the sidelines, and then since then I've never been in for those. So I always catch it on TV. But to Steve's point, it's hard, but you also have to. There's we recruit and the cadets come from nationwide. And the attitudes towards COVID in our predicament is different nationwide. It couldn't be more, the New York mentality is significantly different than I think Huntsville, Alabama would be in terms of what's, I live in New Jersey and it's tight. It's tight here. The mentality is very, very difficult. And those who have houses that I know that live in Florida, they go from here to Florida and they're down there and they're like, it's the Wild West. So, the mentality of different parents, I think has a regional feel. Some understand it more. Some are frustrated a little bit more depending upon where they're living and what their normal is right now. So, it's just tough all the way around. I think you've got to almost approach this, and I'm doing it at this game as if this game is a blessing. It's just a blessing that we get to see Army play another ball game, the latest they've ever played, that they are being rewarded for the hard work that they've put through in their perseverance. The planning from Bob Beretta to Mike Buddy through the team and putting him in the hotel and living and just locked down since June 1st, that there is actually a reward at the end of this because of your hard work and perseverance and just saying, we're not going to be denied. And I think there's an understanding with parents to that. And I think there's an understanding for parents of cadets at Army Navy that this is their cross to bear during this time. It's not perfect, but there's still a level of pride to know that they're doing something at a much higher calling. So I'm there. I think they understand, and I think they're okay with it. Disappointed, but definitely okay.
Okay. And I just want to say we got a bunch of people watching. We appreciate being able to bring you this commentary, and also the view from the top of the stands at the Liberty Bowl gives you a feel what it's like. It's cold there, 37 degrees. We have our guy Deandre Bailey taking video for us. Thanks to the effort of the American Legion Department of Tennessee, who helped us out in finding a resource to do a video. This is pretty unique, I think. We're the old days, you need a satellite truck to do this, and we're doing this with a tablet and a stand and Wi-Fi, connecting Zoom to Facebook, and I think it's kind of neat. And now we appreciate everybody joining us. I got a few comments I'll mention. We got Katie from Virginia Beach watching. We've got our friend Dr. Rich is asking, do we know what division Army's going to honor today? Did they pick out a particular group? Do we know? We'll have to check on that one for Rich. And we got Joel Martin says he can see us and appreciates that. And Jeff Parker asked if we can do this with a hockey team. We'll work on that. We love covering Army hockey. Coach Brian Riley. Hopefully they're getting back started very soon. And Jeff Parker appreciates our effort in showing the team. I don't know if we can go any more of a close-up on this. We'll see what. And we got a few more comments. We've got Roger Lambert says, "Go Army, beat the barbecue out of West Virginia."
Hey,
boy,
Ken,
Coach Munkin said he's got a favorite barbecue spot in Memphis, and Rich DeMarco was telling us about when they stayed in Memphis when they played Arkansas State one time, and they found a great barbecue place. My wife and I were there one time. It is the best place for barbecue. Ooh. And we've got our friend JT, John Thompson, watching, a great veteran, recently retired from the U.S. Army after a terrific career, former commandant at West Point. General, thank you for your service. Great to have you with us today, and we'll stay in touch. And got our friend from Pelham. Go ahead.
Roger, who's on, is a former Army football player. Shout out to Roger. He's an Army Football Club member.
Okay.
Outstanding. Hey, Ken,
Roger
if I could,
Lambert, that's got him.
You asked about the division that they were honoring. I looked on the Army Equipment Twitter feed, posted the helmets, and where they typically put the unit patch, there is the Liberty Bowl logo there. So I don't know that they're zeroing in on a specific division for this game.
Well, one of the stories that we checked on, our friend John Churan did a nice job on this, is the Liberty Bowl was actually founded by an Army Air Corps World War II veteran, Bud Dowling, I believe his name was. And when he came back, he was the athletic director at Villanova. And then he was a former Notre Dame football player, and decided to try and bring a football game, a bowl game, to Philadelphia, and started the Liberty Bowl in the mid-1960s. And then they played 1 year in Atlantic City indoors, and then they decided the people from Memphis attracted the game, and they've been playing in Memphis since that time. And they mentioned that he was a B-26 pilot, and in Europe. I said, that's got to be Army. And we checked, that's an 8th Air Force group, which was part of the Army. The Army was broken up into air, ground, and supply in 1942, we happen to see. So a day to remember the 8th Air Force, perhaps one of their members founded this football game, took horrendous casualties in World War II. And I've actually been to the cemetery in Cambridge, England, where many of them are honored. So maybe that's a fitting way. Let's remember the 8th Air Force and their efforts in World War II today.
Definitely. I'm going to bow out and allow other people in there. I know you extended the invitation to others, but great chatting with you all. Go Army, beat West Virginia.
Steve, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to staying in touch. Take
See you,
care.
Steve.
Okay, now we got a little bit bigger picture of the stadium as Army is out in. Looks like West Virginia on the left, and they look like black, but I guess those are all blue. I don't know if we can get our friend Deandre Bailey to, I don't know if he's listening, to comment on that. Army was planned to be wearing white, gold helmets, white jerseys, and gold pants today. Steve, is that correct?
This is correct, yeah.
Yeah, they Coach Munkin mentioned the outfit being they wanted to wear one of their traditional looks, and that certainly is. We see Army and Army starting to do some of the drills. Yeah, thanks, Deandre. He's checking that. If you can pinch that any more, we love it. But we're using a tablet for this. I mean, to get a picture. I mean, it used to be you'd need a $100,000 camera for this, but enables us to bring this little extra view of the game. And just checking if we've got any of our other contacts coming in. We're hoping to hear from Sam Houston, who was at the game. So one of our regular members of our football huddle from the class of '87, a sprint football player. Steve, maybe we could go through the schedule a little bit. Army obviously opened with two big wins against Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Monroe. The Brigham Young game was canceled, a disappointment. Would have been a terrific nationally televised big CBS game. Then Army went out to Cincinnati and played a very good Cincinnati team, lost 24-10. What's your memory of that game? Christian Anderson played quarterback most of the way through.
Yeah, that game. I think we missed an opportunity in that game a little bit. It was definitely I think it was a winnable game. And I think they played inspired on defense. Offensively, we just couldn't get the ball moving. Cincinnati had a very athletic defense, and they were tough up front. We just couldn't seem to get any traction on it. And it kind of was the harbinger of how our offense was going to look the rest of the year. Rather conservative, not getting the ball outside. We were going to win through ball control in a stifling defense. So that one, I think, got away from us a little bit. I felt we could have won that game more than the Tulane game. So I quite frankly, as I look, and I'm not dissing on the Cincinnati team, but Cincinnati's going to have all their hands full, all that they can take against the Georgia team coming up. So I think that was winnable for us. It really could have put us on the national stage coming out early, and we missed one on that.
Absolutely. Then Army played Abilene Christian, got healthy, 55-23. Then played a very game, I would say, Citadel team, and Army came out 14-9, but they had to work pretty hard to beat Citadel in that game. Then they went down to Texas San Antonio, and that was a big comeback win against a good team, a road win, 28-16. What was your thoughts about the Tennessee San Antonio? That was a kind of the two quarterback game. Start Cade Ballard, and then have Tyree Tyler come in off the bench.
Yeah, I love Cade's poise as a first-time starter or first-year starter. It's debatable if we're going to call him a plebe or a yearling at this point, but I liked his poise. I liked the way that he executed, very decisive at the point of attack. He eliminated the pitch read. He ran downhill really well, not as athletic. You could see that, but you could tell that he's a gamer. And we seem to play UTSA really well. We did last year, and I think we're other than the loss we had against Notre Dame when we played in the dome there. We play really well in there. I can still remember a Texas A&M game that we almost won years back in the Alamo Dome. So it was a great game. Anytime Army can win on the road is a good game. It's a great game for us. It's tough to win on the road in general, but we've perennially been difficult on the road to come away with victories. So, I mean, that was good all the way around.
Absolutely. I'm getting my last update. We've been very pleased to work with rallypoint.com. David Gowell, a West Point graduate, runs that website serving veterans. And so we're very pleased to be able to share our content there, as well as on Twitter at Sons Legion Radio. We're on the Detachment of New York page on Facebook, as well as here. And again, we want to thank everybody in the American Legion for their support, the 2 million veterans who are so proud to represent. Now, talking with Steve Shalou, and we've got Richard Miller, our producer here. Army had a tough game down at Tulane. It seemed like a game that Tulane had played a bunch of games. Army had a couple of weeks off. They went from October 24th beating Mercer to November 14th, had 3 weeks off. Tulane, I think, had played 5 weeks in a row. And then, but they seemed to be really up for it and won 38-12. What was the challenge in the Tulane game, would you say?
Yeah, so with Tulane, their head coach has a lot of experience with the triple option, has a lot of experience with coaching with or against Jeff Monken. So, there was a familiarity there. They had already played Navy, in which they let one get away. They were up 24-0, and then Navy came back and beat them 27-24. I guarantee that stuck in their craw. Nobody knew the fate of what Navy looked like at that point in time. Versus where they ended up at the end of the season. So they went into the game with a lot of confidence, and just as well as we play in the Alamo Dome, we seem to go down in New Orleans and not show well. So we went down there and we just didn't have, and then coach tried to get a little cute with some plays, and then the game just got away from us at that point. So I put that one in the learn the lesson box and move on from there. I really tried not to think too much about that game. That was frustrating at best. Yeah.
Hey, we got your friend Tom Hansbarger watching.
Hey, Tommy.
And Lou Knapp, grandparents from Virginia Beach watching. And we're so glad they were able to do so. And just checking, our friend JT Thompson said same weather as New Year's Eve 1985 when Army beat Illinois in the Peach Bowl. And we appreciate, always good to hear from General Thompson. Tom O'Connor, got to go Army, your friend Roger Lampert. Okay, now we get down to crunch time. Georgia Southern, a rivalry game. I think it's a new rivalry. That was Coach Monken's former school, an up-and-coming program, having recently joined Division I and the Bowl subdivision. And boy, went down to the wire. And tell us a little bit, what were your impressions of that game? We're expecting it to be that tough a fight?
Yeah, so before I start with Georgia Southern, Tom Hansberg, I'm going to tell you, he's an outstanding American, one of the finest people on earth. He's the head of DCA there at the academy, so he helps a lot of cadets with their programs for clubs and everything else. Tom is a very talented running back. When I played, he's a colonel there, and he's a great American. His wife, Lee, is great. Molly, his daughter, and David's going to be an outstanding running back when he grows up. So I want to definitely give a shout out to Tom and his selfless service as a colonel at the academy. Georgia Southern game we knew that was going to be an emotional, high-flying game just based upon the history of coaching staff. A lot of them came from Georgia Southern. They all got their roots there. Paul Johnson Tree, you talk about coaching trees in the pros. It started Georgia Southern wise, and you knew that it was going to be emotional on both sides. the advantage going into it, mentality-wise, had to be given to Georgia Southern because they were going to come in and take the established program down. They had just started, FBS a few years back. It was a brother against brother type mentality, and it was a hard-fought game. We put the ball on the turf quite a bit, but coach stuck with the quarterback, and I think against what most of us thought. Everybody, we're watching Cade do what he did at the UTSA. We're wondering where's Cade, and he stuck with Tyre, and it worked out. It worked out really well. So that was a tribute to coach's confidence in a player, and you got to love that as a player to know that your head coach is going to stick with you. I mean, I can just imagine that conversation. Hey, stay in the moment. From here forward, have a short memory. This is your team. This is your squad. And he rose up, and we came back and had a very emotional and charged win against Georgia Southern. And I think it was one of our better victories. I thought going into it was a trap game for us. I thought for sure we were going to have a ton of trouble, and I was worried about losing that ball game. Very pleasantly surprised. Not pleasantly surprised, but very pleased at the fact that we spotted those points and still came back and won.
Well, we're just standing by. Unfortunately, there's no marching bands at the game today. Normally, there would be quite a show for one of these ball games. I remember down 2 years ago down in the Armed Forces Bowl, University of Houston band was just tremendous when they went out on the field, as well as the West Point band. They went out and did their portion of the program. So we're just going to keep an eye on. We have our friend Deandre Bailey. Is going to try to catch the national anthem for us. Steve, final thoughts? Just game for the ages, Navy and Air Force. I mean, they'll be talking about those two games 100 years from now.
Yeah, it was, I think emotionally I'm just getting back to normal from those two games. There was so many things on the line, so many subplots, so many different themes and things that were going on between COVID and between traveling from Annapolis to the game and having it at West Point and seeing Navy's name in the end zone, which it just seemed wrong. It just, and I understand why they had to do it, but it just seemed wrong. Then into the ball game where we just dominated 4 first downs for the Naval Academy. We only got 8. We only got 8 first downs. They got 4 first downs. It was a slugfest. And at the end, we came out victorious. The goal line stand, stopping their prized fullback at the 1 foot line and keeping him out of the end zone, which changed the entire dynamic of that ball game. It gave
John
us
Radigan grabbing that quarterback, stopping him on the 1 foot line, on the third down play. Wow, what a play by John Radigan. What a senior season he had. And Richard, let's just go around, and we have a few more minutes. The game's going to start. You can watch this game, of course, on ESPN. 4 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Central time. We're very happy to give you this preview. Richard Miller, thank you for joining us, and our producer. You're kind of my inspiration. You got us going on the huddle this year, which we appreciated. And you've been one of the best forecasters we have on our huddle on game. What's your thought about this game?
My thought about this game, it's a bowl game. I think it's going to be it's going to be close. It's going to be one of these games where I think, especially now it's a New Year's Eve, but a bowl game is honestly one of the most exciting and the most interesting games of the year. Army is gonna come away with at least at least a very close win. It's not going to be a blowout like I think in some of these other games. I think Army's going to win a very close game.
Okay, very good.
Down 27-21.
Richard, thank you. And Steve Shalou, we really appreciate you joining us today and sharing your insight as an Army alumnus, class of 92, and a former offensive lineman. Tell us about quickly the bowl game that you played in. What was your bowl experiences at Army?
Yeah, so we played against Alabama. in the Sun Bowl, going into it, they were talking about, the announcers are saying they were going to have to read from the phone book because we were going to get so, dismantled by the Crimson Tide. It came down to the wire. We lost 29-28. I think we got 3 field goal kicks blocked by Derek Thomas. And it was very winnable. We came out and absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage offensively. And they were in for a fight the entire day. I can still remember it as if it was yesterday, just watching our team going up against the Crimson Tide. It was a different Alabama team than what they have today. But I'll tell you, they had, I think, 5 or 6 pro players that senior year that had big careers in the NFL. So it was a great experience, a lot of fun. And it was back when there were only 36 or so bowls. It wasn't this 116 bowl games that we have these days. So not a lot of teams got to go. So it was exciting to get that opportunity.
Excuse me. Steve, just give us your forecast on the game. What does Army have to do offensively and defensively?
Army's got to control the line of scrimmage. It's going to come down to the line play. We've got to get the time of possession. We've got to frustrate West Virginia's offense by controlling the clock when we have the ball. We've got some key players that are out. I'm not going to get into who they are, but we do have some key players that are out. And the next person up mentality's got to be there. They got to fill in. They got to do the job. The line has moved from 7 to 10 points for West Virginia. I think it's going to be much tighter than that. My prediction earlier this week was 26-24. I'm sticking solidly to that prediction. It looks like Army weather there. We're going to play hard. We're going to control the line of scrimmage. We're going to pull off a victory because we don't back down.
Absolutely. I think one of the challenges early is just trying to contain the West Virginia passing game. Army's got 2 really good safeties. We talked to Cedric Cunningham the other day, and also Markel Broughton. I think one of the strengths of the teams is the defensive backfield. They got some great players, which maybe Army didn't have a few years ago. Jabari Bordeaux, Julian McDuffie has played very well. Caleb John. They've got some good players. Tell us about what does that backfield have to do to contain a really potent offensive passing attack?
They just got to be disciplined, and they so you got to keep the ball inside and up front, and rely upon the front 5 or front 6 to provide pressure where necessary, and then be opportunistic at that point. Don't give up the big play. Don't let somebody get behind you. Don't get sucked in on a play action. Just keep the ball inside and up front. Be sure tacklers and frustrate the offense, because they're going to have fewer and fewer series because we're going to dominate the time of possession. I would think that Army's going to be more disciplined with penalties, and that could be drive stoppers for West Virginia. So if we keep the pressure on time of possession wise, we play disciplined football, keep the ball inside up front, we can wear them down, not unlike what we did against San Diego State a few years back, where it came down to the very end, and we won that ball game. So I liken these 2 bowl games to be very similar to that San Diego State game.
Okay, and Steve Shalou, I just want to thank you for joining us today, and we'll have a huddle on Monday night to wrap up the season, and they're going to the National Anthem. I'm going to say goodbye to Richard also, so we can enlarge the screen a little bit. Thank you both very much, and I will look forward to watching this game. Thank you both. Take care.
Thank
Beat
you.
the Mountaineers.
Go Army.
And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio. We're at the LibertyBowl Stadium in Memphis, Tennessee. Army versus West Virginia is going to start in about 10 minutes, and we're just waiting for the National Anthem. They're doing some pageantry from the scoreboard, and we appreciate our friend Deandre Bailey. Deandre, can you hear us? See if we can get a weather update. There he is, Deandre. Thank you for your help today. What's the weather like there now? Has it changed? Has it gotten any warmer? No? Okay, there we are. There's the scoreboard atop the stands on the other side, and we can see the scoreboard. If I have a chance, I'm going to go down what are the lineups for Army waiting for the national anthem, and we appreciate Deandre going through. Maybe just going through West Virginia. They beat Eastern Kentucky 56-10, lost to Oklahoma State 27-13, beat Baylor, beat Kansas, lost to Texas Tech, beat Kansas State 37-10, lost to number 22 Texas 17-13, beat TCU 24-6.
National Anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous skies o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed. And the rocket now bursting in air, gave proof of their might, and blackness still. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Okay, and that's the national anthem from the Liberty Bowl, Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to stay here just a couple more minutes. Many thanks to the Department of Tennessee, the American Legion, for their support and help. Great to work with their team and De'Andre Bailey. Deandre Bailey, who is out on site taking these beautiful video pictures, gives us a feel what it'd be like to be sitting in the stands there. A little bit of the Army offense. Cole Catterbone scheduled to start wide receiver, the sophomore. Tight end, Chris Cameron, the junior. Left tackle, Jordan Lawton, the freshman, 6'4", 285, number 77, left tackle. Left guard, the senior captain, Mike Johnson, number 59. And center, Connor Bishop, sophomore, 6'3", 290. Peyton Reeder at right guard, the senior, 300 pounds, 6'6". Right tackle, Lucas McCleary. Quarterback scheduled number 1 is Tyree Tyler. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Christian Anderson, even Cade Ballard today. Fullback Santa McCoy, the senior from Kannapolis, North Carolina. Kobe Buchanan's going to get some reps today. Also a freshman, Tyson Riley. Tyrell Robinson, a running back. The great explosive freshman, Brandon Walters at the slot back. And Regan Donaldson, Sean Eckert at wide receiver. And let's see if I can get the Army defense. Scheduled to start at linebacker Jeremy Lowry, number 43, the senior. Defensive end Ryan Duran.
Patricia Covington from Cummins.
And Ryan Duran, the junior and defensive end. Nose guard Nolan Cockrell, we talked to at practice on Tuesday. The defensive end Amadale West, the senior. Number 52, Apache, Malcolm Morrison, or Darian McDonald. Darian McDonald's played very well, a sophomore. At weak inside linebacker, John Radican having the great season, backed up by Fabrice Boyd. The other inside linebacker, Eric Smith, Derek Jones there. Eric, 6 foot, 240 pound junior. At the boundary corner, Jabari Moore. sophomore at strong safety, Broughton, the free safety, Cedric Cunningham, the junior, and Javari Bordeaux, the field corner, backed up by Julian McDuffie. And I think the challenge is the Army defensive backfield stopping, slowing down the West Virginia offensive passing attack. And for the Army offense, grind it out, Army football, hold on to the ball, long ball control drives, shorten the game as much as possible, and grind out and score, make the third down, make the fourth down conversions, and complete their drives, as Shannon McCoy said, and then complete the game. We asked Shannon about the Oklahoma game and the Michigan game, and he said what they learned from them, got to complete the game. So they're not awed by playing a Big 12 team. And we just got a couple of minutes. I have to sign off. And Deandre, if you can hear me, thank you for listening. We'll just try and stay until the Army football team runs out on the field. And if you can check which locker room that direction they're coming from. But it's great to be able to see what the stadium looks like. It's a little bit different perspective. You can watch the game on ESPN starting in just a couple of minutes, 4 o'clock. And we hope you'll stay with us again. I want to thank our sponsors, the Westchester Bank, the White Plains Bake Shop, Patty Devine, our social media Facebook advisor, and the 2 million veterans of the American Legion. We're always proud to represent them. And that's what we're all about in the Sons of the American Legion. 350,000 Sons members around the country serving America's veterans.
Dr. Madison Michael from Sims Roofing.
And just a few more introductions going on. We got about 3 minutes, and we're scheduled to stay on the air. This is kind of neat. We just really appreciate it. Great coordination with the American Legion Department of Tennessee. Helped us out finding Deandre Bailey, a terrific video resource. And we've enjoyed covering Army football. We have a ton of interviews. If you go to my YouTube page, Ken Kraetzer. I think we had 101 interviews and videos that we've done and produced this year. I think this is number 102. We're so proud to be able to tell the story of the cadets, the coaches, the officers, the instructors, everybody up at West Point. And we'll be doing basketball, hockey coverage over the winter and spring football practice. Whatever they play, baseball, whatever it is, lacrosse coming up hopefully. This spring we'll be doing coverage, and so just follow us here, and on today follow our game coverage on Twitter at Sons Legion Radio. And we've got about a minute left. We can stay. We're just waiting to see if Army comes out of the field. Deandre, can you face? I'm not sure which tunnel Army is going to come out on the field, but let's see if we can stay until they sign up.
And Bob Wilson from the Wilson Air Center. Thanks to all.
So it's been a great season. We appreciate the Sports Information Department at West Point, especially Rachel Canton, who came in just the middle of August. And there's Army getting set to come out on the field. And let's see if we can stay with them as they get introduced to the Liberty Bowl here in Memphis. They're getting their nice video. So Shannon McCoy, there's Coach Munkin. And let's see, Deandre, can you see if you can hopefully we can move. I'm not sure which tunnel they're coming out. Maybe that's right under the goalpost. I see a flag. And we'll stay with them. We got about another minute. So General Williams, and see if we can get the Black Knights coming out on the field. And there they are. They're the Black Knights of Army. Oh, we got somebody set up just in front of us, but we can see them. There's the American flag. And good job, Deandre, raising the camera a little bit. Great job. And it's 4 o'clock, so it's our time to turn it over to ESPN, and you can watch today's game there. We'll be back tonight with the post-game coverage. Got to sign off. Thank you to Deandre Bailey, sponsors, and always remember this game was founded by a member of the U.S. Army 8th Air Force in World War II in honor of his friends who did not make the trip home. So the Army's going to be very well representing them today. This is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion, Sons of the American Legion Radio. We're part of Squadron 135 in White Plains, New York. Thank you very much. Enjoy the game today. And thank you for everybody who came in. There's West Virginia joining the field. Take care. Enjoy the game today, folks.